Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, welcome back to the male soap opera moment featuring the one, the only, the wrestling encyclopedia, no renewal required, Vincent Kennedy Bucci.
Yes, I'm in parts unknown, pulled over in the middle of somewhere in America, ready to see what's going to happen this Saturday.
Oh, yeah, just hours ahead. And of course, he's not alone. On his way to Damascus, we found the Damascus Lycan, Desmond Dagenhart.
I think you're the first person I've ever shown my handle to that actually pronounces it the way that I intended it to be pronounced. Everybody
Hey.
says Damascus.
A clock is right twice a day. So there you have it. That's the first time I've been right. A broken clock. Yeah, that's what I was inferring to. See, even the statement was broken. So there you have it. So let's get to it. In case you missed it, your friend the Wens here has decided to do what was right. Sometimes in life you have to step aside and not kind of meddle and get in the middle of something that you have no business being in. And the reason I have no business making predictions for this, official predictions, I'm going to make unofficial ones, just so you know. The reason I don't have my name in the hat is because I finished dead last at Clash of the Castle. So because it was a tie between Damascus Lycan and Vincent Kennedy Bucci, I have decided to let these two gentlemen duke it out. Hamilton Burr style, baby, minus the violence and guns and rounds. We're going to do it prediction style here in the world of Wens. And we're going to get it started with the first match, the Intercontinental Championship match. Sami Zayn, who's had the belt since, April, versus Braun Breaker. I want to give my unofficial pick, if that's okay. And this may kind of sway you guys. This may be beneficial, but it may also be harmful. So, take it for what it's worth. But don't take too many. I feel like the plans are so big for Braun that it kind of doesn't make sense for him to lose this match. It's almost as if we've seen time and time again that Sami Zayn thrives from losing and then coming back. Like, that's this story. It's his body type. Like, he doesn't take enhancers. Like, you can tell he's a normal guy. Like, he works out, but he's not a Scott Steiner or Rick Steiner in this case. It just makes sense to me that Braun Breaker wins now. Not at SummerSlam, not later on, but now.
Me and Vinny kind of both talked about this, and we both are thinking, we both have a lot of the same way of thinking of it, but I think we both actually ended up choosing different people in this. I actually believe Sami Zayn is going to retain it. I don't believe he needs to retain it, and I do see that being an issue with Braun Breaker, but I feel like I don't see Sami Zayn losing the title at Money in the Bank. I feel like they're going to push it back. I do believe it's going to hurt Braun Breaker's momentum just a hair, but if they end up having him take the belt from him at SummerSlam or something else, it'll happen. But I feel like he's going to lose the belt at the Big Four, especially because we're so close to SummerSlam. So I think Sami Zayn's going to retain.
What say you, Booch?
This is something that Des and I definitely talked about. And when it comes to Sami Zayn, Des has made a lot of valid points. And I do know we have a Big Four coming up, but I know at the Big Four, there's going to be at least one title change happening there. I don't know if they want to overdo it at SummerSlam. And I do believe that with the momentum that Braun Breaker has, here's the thing. If Vince was running this, I'd probably go with Sami. But Triple H, again, is smart enough to know that Braun, like they said, in a few years, he's a world champion. He ain't there yet. But I think at the very least, he's Intercontinental Champion. I have a lot of faith in Braun Breaker. And I know Des and I are going to need at least one point of contention. And I thought there was one match was going to be our point of contention, but then he said something that interests me, so I got a feeling that's not the case. So for this one, I'll go with Braun Breaker. I think Braun's going to win the title.
I love what you just said there, Booch, that in a few years he'll be world champion. He's not there yet. And there's so many people on this roster, like Karrion Kross. He could be, in a few years, champion if they play it the right way. These certain people, Jey Uso.
If they play it the right way, he could be champion. He could be champion by the end of the year if they played it right.
Well,
with the faction he's got, the way they built it, he could easily be champion within the year.
yeah, and you got to love him teaming up with AOP. There's a lot of power and strength there. We'll have to see how that pans out. But for that first match, ladies and gentlemen, we have a clear divide. We will have a champion at some point after this weekend, hopefully. Next match, Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens, and Randy Orton taking on the Bloodline. And this is a video show, but in case you turned away, you're doing laundry, washing dishes, changing diapers. I put that in quotes because we don't actually know who's going to compete here. Like, we have an idea, but big questions, legit questions that they won't talk about on air. But Jacob Fatu, can he compete? Right? The criminal history, all that stuff. Can he compete at Money in the Bank? Are we going to see a confrontation between Solo Sikoa and Roman Reigns? We're going to see another member of this family come out of the woodwork. And that's kind of where I feel this is going. I saw on some dirt sheets, real dirty. I had to wash my hands after looking at these. I just felt disgusting looking at these things. But I enjoy it because it gives you a different perspective. A dirty little birdie told me that there is a wrestler out of New Japan whose contract has just concluded, and he might be on his way to WWE to join the Bloodline as soon as Saturday. So my pick would be, again, unofficially, that the Bloodline keeps their momentum going upward and onward, and they win this match. But not up to me. Booch, what say you?
This is a tough one. Because I know Cody has not taken any L's since winning the title. So I say that if the Bloodline does win, it ain't Cody that's getting pinned. I'll tell you that right now. They're pinning Randy or they're pinning Owens, preferably Kevin Owens. This is a tough one for me. I think Kevin, Randy, and Cody can use the momentum too, but because it's a 6-man, I don't think it hurts anybody. And Dez and I have talked about somebody else that might be making an appearance. So I'm going to go with the Bloodline. I think they're going to keep this heel faction going because Solo, I don't think the Tonga kids need the win, but Solo, he needs the win because Solo doesn't have a lot of W's on his record right now. So I'll go with the Bloodline.
So, Desmond, before you weigh in, I just want to ask, because this is a great opportunity for a tiebreaker. You said Cody definitely is not getting pinned. So who is getting?
We've already decided on a tiebreaker.
Okay, go ahead. Let me know.
Tiebreaker. So yeah, I also am going to go with the Bloodline winning this because no matter how you look at it, yes, it's a 6-man match. It's 3-on-3. It's even. No, it's not. There's 4 members of the Bloodline. And and what people aren't talking about is Jacob Fatu has a little brother. There are more people who could join this family real fucking fast. But that's not the point I want to make. I agree with him. The Bloodline's going to win this one. I also believe that Kevin Owens should take the pin, and that's not a knock on Kevin Owens. It's when that's Cody Rhodes is the champion. And Randy Orton looks like he's being primed to eventually turn heel and go against Cody. And we'll talk about that on a later thing because that's not directly related to the show. I believe Kevin Owens is taking the pin. But here's where our tiebreaker came in. And correct me if I'm wrong because we agreed on this prior here.
Yes.
We both were talking about the possibility of this being where Roman Reigns makes his appearance, makes his return. I don't believe he's going to make a huge impact. It's going to be the match ends and Roman appears kind of deal. And then we wait until Monday to find out why he's back and they set the stage for SummerSlam. That's what we're looking at. If I'm mistaken, I believe I'm the one who said that Roman will make his appearance at Money in the Bank.
Yes, and just so we could have a tiebreaker, I'll say he won't. But I'm not going to be sad if he does, obviously, but just so we have something to crowned definitive champion, I'll say he won't show up.
So
I love it. I love it.
For clarity, this is not for a point. This is a tiebreaker. Only in the case of a tie does this matter.
Right.
Yes.
And it could. We've seen it before here in Wins World, so we want to make sure, especially after Clash of the Castle, that we have a definitive champion before SummerSlam, right? We cannot continue to push this all the way to SummerSlam. That would drive me crazy. So let's not all get driven crazy. I did feel a tad crazy because looking at this next match, there's so many ways that WWE can go with this. The women's Money in the Bank ladder match. I love all the different personas and characters in this match because all of them have like unique plays, right? So let's just go through the list right here in case you aren't familiar with who's competing. It's Tiffy time, baby. Tiffany Stratton, Io Sky. By the way, winning in 2023. Chelsea Green, Lyra, Naomi, and Zoe. So looking at this, again, not officially in this, one thing I learned upon researching here is that there's literally a perfect record with women cashing in with this briefcase, a perfect conversion record. Now, I can't say that with the men's, and we're going to get to this men's match later, and there's a huge storyline at play with that. So I think you guys know what I'm talking about. But as far as this match goes, there's so many different ways they can push this. So you guys are big fans of Lyra. So maybe she doesn't need the push. She's hot enough. She can do it on her own. Maybe Tiffy Time does need the push. Maybe they'll give it to her. Or maybe it fits more in the realm of Chelsea Green's character, right? She's always kind of that opportunistic heel, right? Just weaning her way in, just wedging her way into the situation. And that's like perfect for this briefcase, right? Last minute, knock somebody off the ladder, climb up, grab it, get the hell out of Dodge. That would be perfect for her. So like I said at the top of this, so many ways they can go. I personally feel like it's Tiffy time, baby. I think she is the winner of this match. It makes the most sense. But again, unofficial prediction from your friend, the Wins. Damaskian Lycan. What say you?
This is a very, very tough one. Now, I will say this. You're right. I very much love Lyra Valkyria. Okay, she is awesome. But I don't like it in the hands of a face. I don't like Money in the Bank going to a face. I feel like there's so much better uses of this. Part of me is leaning towards Io Sky. And the reasoning being because they're making such a big deal about it being, she would be the first person since CM Punk to win it two times in a row.
Mm-hmm.
And they've made a big deal about that. And I'm like, that could happen. And I do like Io Sky, but I don't think Io Sky needs to be champion yet. Again, she had a really good run with it the first time around, and I think it's let this cool down happen. All right. So really, to me, it's coming down to Chelsea and Tiffy. Chelsea does have an advantage because we all know that Piper Niven is going to be helping her at some point or another. I feel like we all have that. That's a given. Piper Niven's going to make an appearance at some point in the match. That being said, I think I am going to have to agree with Wins and say it is Tiffy time. She is a top tier heel. She's got that I am better than you, and now I'm going to take what is mine mentality. And I feel like she is the kind of heel that the Money in the Bank is designed for. Someone who's already got the look, got the talent, and just needs something to catapult them in, and Money in the Bank is the thing to do it. It is Tiffy time. I'm locking that in.
Locked and loaded. Damascus Dez has weighed in. Boots, you're pacing over there. Are you nervous? What's going on? Are you burying bodies? What's going on in that neck of the woods over there?
Nah, I'm just trying to stay in the shade because I don't want the heat. I had to get out of the car otherwise. Because that's the thing about iPhones. I know Des gonna say something about it later. Where if you're in a hot car and the temperature gets too hot, it shuts off. So I'm outside in the breeze.
Nice.
And I know Des gonna say something about it later to me. But anyway, I'm looking at this. I will say this. There's one thing, Wes, that you said that I need to make a correction on. It's not that Lyra Valkyria doesn't need the briefcase. As much as I love her, she ain't ready. It's more about that rather than she needs it. Like, if she got it, it'd be awesome, but she's not ready for it yet.
So all that assuming, so by you saying that, you're assuming that they would keep this perfect conversion record intact, right?
Yeah, but I'm saying that she's not going to get the briefcase. She's not ready. She's not ready. So, also, there's only one person that doesn't need the briefcase, and that's Io Sky. The rest of them could use it. Like, obviously, I have no objections to Naomi having it. We've all, our history of being fans of hers. Chelsea Green, the Piper Niven thing does scare me a little bit, but I don't hate Chelsea Green. I have met her boyfriend, but I don't hate her. And I like her boyfriend. I'll clarify that. Matt Cardona is awesome. Matt Cardona is awesome. I didn't want it to seem like I hate Matt Cardona, but no.
The way that you phrased it made it seem like I've met her boyfriend, but I don't hate her.
Real fast.
I know. I messed up.
Real fast. I did see something interesting about Matt Cardona. He posted on Twitter, maybe it's time for a return.
Yeah. He definitely wants to come back.
Do you think there's a chance that we'll see him at Money in the Bank?
No, but I do think there's a plan to bring him in. I don't know when it would be, but probably not Money in the Bank. But I do see him coming back. But that being said, 100%, it's Tiffany. It can't not be Tiffany Stratton. She is, because first of all, the Elimination Chamber got her over tremendously. As I mentioned before, in NXT, she was a phenomenal heel, and she went the distance with Becky Lynch, which put her on the map. Like, this, Tiffany Stratton is great in the ring, great on the mic, has the personality, as you guys mentioned, is the perfect heel for this. So 100% it's Tiffy time. Tiffany's got to take it. So I'm going with Tiffany Stratton.
All right. And since we already have a tiebreaker in place, no need to place one here. It seems as if both of you gentlemen agree that Piper Niven will make an appearance at some point in this match. Hard to argue with that. Now, I kind of teased it earlier, and the conversion rate isn't quite the same. It's like, when you go to a different country and you realize how valueless the American dollar is. Same thing with the men's briefcase, because we've seen this be a curse in years past. But years, more recent, we've seen people cash in. People like Damian Priest, huge conversion there. A lot to say about him, maybe if we get time. But the real question is, are either of the champions going to cough up their belts before the next WrestleMania? I don't think so, right? So it's almost as if, like, what would be the purpose of this briefcase? And the more I think about it, and the more I'm talking to people and researching and thinking about what would I do to torture the WWE fan, what I would do is give it to Drew. Just give it to Drew and let him and Punk have this Tom and Jerry cat and mouse game as long as they can do it, right? How perfect would it be to kind of like basically recreate what we saw, where Punk comes in, plays the role of spoiler, the 2-count referee, every single time that Drew McIntyre comes out and tries to cash in? That would be ideal. Now, granted, WWE has been short of ideal in the past, but here we are. It's a new day. I mean, the New Day did get their asses kicked, as we saw by, the Raw highlights. But it's a new day in terms of Triple H calling the shots. So, with that said, if I were calling a prediction, unofficially, I would say that Drew McIntyre wins this match. Booch, what do you think about this one? Is this one giving you a tough time? Not a tiffy time, but a tough time.
And it was for a period of time, looking at it, but this is something Des and I talked about as well. The possibility of Drew McIntyre. The reason we don't see him winning is because we think there's going to be a scenario where everyone's going to get laid out. Drew's going to sit on the ladder. He's going to climb it. All of a sudden, on the other side of the ladder, there's CM Punk, tips it over, sends him crashing through a table, and costs him again. So we feel like Punk's going to show up in Canada, and they're going to do that. That way, Punk doesn't worry about getting in there with 5 other people and deal with that. So it's going to be everybody's laid out. It's just Drew by himself, and Punk's going to tip that thing over. So I don't see Drew taking it. And I would have loved to have picked LA Knight, but then Dez brought to my attention that he might use that to cash in on Logan Paul. And just like how Desmond doesn't like to see the briefcase in the hands of a babyface, I don't like seeing the briefcase cashed in on anything less than the world title. So I would not pick LA Knight if that's the case. But there is one guy on the roster out of all of them that I would love to see have the briefcase.
Are you seriously going to pick Carmelo Hayes?
Yes, because he is a guy that you can build for the future. He is a guy that can become a world champion. He has got the promo. He has got the in-ring skill. He's a bit of a spot monkey, but he can pull it back. So Carmelo Hayes, when he shoots, he don't miss. And at Money in the Bank, he ain't gonna miss. So yes, I am picking Carmelo Hayes for the Money in the Bank.
Wow, I did not see that coming. Desmond, what are you doing here?
This one, it is very tough because I've seen a lot of spoilers go online, and I really don't want this to happen. Somebody said that Drew's gonna win, and then Punk is gonna fuck over the cash in, so we would see another failed cash in.
Mm-hmm.
I dread that because right now the cash in rate's at like 80%, and I don't like it below 90. And legitimately, I don't mind. Like, you get it back above 90 and you have a loss, that's fine. But it needs to stay above 90% to make it feel special.
Right.
And it just doesn't at the moment. I'm hoping the CM Punk stops him from winning the Money in the Bank match at all. So I'm taking Drew out of the equation there. Andrade, he's not getting the damn thing. Because as of right now in WWE, he's nobody. Obviously, Carmelo and LA Knight.
Jey Uso's on the poster.
The only reason I'm not choosing Jey Uso is because he's a face and I don't want to see it in the hands of a face.
But just because you don't want to see it doesn't make it a good prediction, right? Sometimes you got to bet against your team because you know they're going to get spanked.
I get that, but I feel like there are better options. I don't feel like Jey Uso needs the money in the briefcase. And I also, in all fairness, I believe they're holding off on anything big with Jey until they finish up the bloodline thing.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But he's got to live up to main event. He's got to live up to it someday,
Right.
or it's going to become a satirical thing. I mean,
right. As of right now, I feel like they got to hold off on it because I mean he's been in the main event. When they do the Bloodline versus the Bloodline, he's still going to be in that main event. He's going to stay there. Okay, he's good. So I don't see him, but I just don't see him getting it from that reason there. So who does that leave? Oh, that's right. We still have one spot that needs to be filled on Friday, don't we?
No, all the spots are filled.
are you sure?
Who am I missing?
All 6 spots are filled. There's Carmelo Hayes, there's Drew McIntyre, there's Jey Uso, there's Andrade, Chad Gable,
Chad Gable. Yep.
and I don't have the notes in front of me, but there should be, but Chad Gable's in it.
I have
that's
90% sure they said there was one more. Yeah, you've only got 5, man.
Yeah, that's 5.
Well, I'm saying I don't remember who the last one is, but I know that they picked them all.
All right, let's look it up right now.
Why has a computer? He should be looking this up.
Yeah, he
That's
should
what
be.
I'm trying to. God, I mean, jeez, give me a
I
break.
feel like they made a point on Monday Night Raw to say one more spot needed to be filled.
Jay, Andrade, Chad, Carmelo, LA.
And Drew
Okay,
McIntyre.
Drew. Drew grabbed the final spot with a huge victory.
Okay.
So we
It
have
was weird. I don't know. I feel like one of them was still open, but it doesn't matter. Regardless, it doesn't matter. Oh yeah, I was gonna say Andrade's not going to get Jay. I feel like they're holding off for the bloodline. Drew's gonna be screwed over by CM Punk if all goes well. Chad Gable's not winning this. He's just fucking not. I love Chad Gable, and it would be great in his hands. But I feel like the Wyatts aren't gonna let that happen.
Nah.
And that leaves LA Knight and Carmelo Hayes. And LA Knight did say outright when he was talking about Logan Paul that maybe he walks in the Money in the Bank and maybe he wins that briefcase and cashes in on and forces Logan Paul to give him that match. I want to say Carmelo Hayes because Carmelo Hayes is the heel. Carmelo Hayes is the up-and-comer. He's the guy that it's built for. But I'm trying to figure out a way to get Logan Paul to agree to the match at SummerSlam with LA Knight. And I just don't see it happening right now. I'm going to take a chance, do a little swerve, go against my gut. LA Knight to win Money in the Bank.
Ooh. All right. I like it. I like it. I like the boldness. Fortune favors the bold, my friend.
They're the only two people to me that make sense. And LA Knight has a story already built into the current storyline for it. So it makes sense.
So there's one more. Seth freaking Rollins going against one of the most lovable heels that I've seen in WWE. And I'm gonna expound on this in just a second. But Damian Priest. And the reason I like this guy is because I'm not a fan of most heels. I love the babyface. I've always been a fan of the faces since Hogan. Like, it's just all, like the good guy, right? Coming to the rescue of people. All American, baby. So this is kind of like why I like Damian Priest. Because he's still a heel. He's still a baddie. But he still has honor. He still tells Finn Balor, like, I want to do this alone. Like, by myself. On his own. So he lets Finn Balor kind of get his shots in, but then he pulls him off of Seth. And at the same time, clearly dropping Easter eggs in terms of eventually a cut from Judgment Day, but still coming to the aid of Finn Balor when he's, when he takes the kick, when he takes the curb stomp, comes to him, helps him, picks his head off the mat. So we see like this guy who's all about his squad, but also all about himself and his own persona. So this is why I like it, because he's a divided heel. He's not an easy tell. Like, there's clearly division there, internal. There's turmoil, and I love that. I love that story. So if it were me, I would say that Priest retains Saturday. But that's just me. It's not me. It's not me. It's not my choice. It's Damascus Dez and Vinny Bucci. So what say you guys?
Yeah, this is one of those matches that I feel like is a given. I feel like they put Seth in here to legitimize Damian Priest. I feel like at SummerSlam, Gunther is going to take the belt. That's what I feel like is what's going to happen. And I feel like if Gunther takes the belt, you don't take it off of a fresh Seth Rollins champion run. You take it off of somebody who's had the belt for a while. That being said, you talked about Damian Priest having that honor. That's because they're priming him for a face turn. It's that simple. He's not going to be a heel much longer. The breakup is happening. The split is already being there. I feel like he's going to win against Seth Rollins. Maybe the Judgment Day gets involved. Maybe they don't. But I feel like either way, if the Judgment Day gets involved, then Damian gets pissed and beats the hell out of Finn Balor. But then the rest of them come in and attack Damian, and it ends up being a mugging. Or maybe he wins it on his own, and they mug him anyway because we don't fucking need you. And you're obviously proving that you don't care about us, you don't need us, so fuck you. Either way, the split's happening. And it might not happen. It might happen now. It might happen on Monday Night Raw, but it's gonna happen.
So do you think that they could use this match to bring about that split in terms of JD, Judgment Day costing him his own championship inadvertently?
Yeah. Because right now, I feel like they're going to help him retain it. And he's going to be pissed about it, is what I feel like is going to happen. And then his backlash at motherfuckers, you should have stuck your neck in, is what's going to end up causing it, potentially. But it doesn't make sense for the Judgment Day to cost him the title, because right now having the world champion in their ranks makes them stronger. But
right.
regardless, I do believe the Damian Priest is retaining because I feel like Gunther's going to win at SummerSlam.
There you have it. Booch, what do you think?
Yeah, basically Gunther is going title. That is a given. And also we got, Seth Rollins doesn't need to be champion. If anything, he needs to be away from the belt for a while because he held it for so long. So yeah, Damian Priest is definitely retaining.
Wow. Short and sweet. I love it. That gives us a couple minutes. Desmond, you're a huge fan. Will you show your shirt, please, to the Wins Worldians here? A huge fan of Bray Wyatt, and man, oh man, the promo that I saw on Raw was just like so crazy. Like I don't even know how to digest it, because like there's so much to tell here with his brother, still obviously Bo Dallas, carrying on his legacy, and they're doing it in a really like interesting way here. I want to give you guys the floor. I'm going to kind of take a backstage approach here because you guys know way more about this than I do. But what I saw is that they're using this word reckoning, and I want to understand what that means in terms of Bray Wyatt, what it means for the Wyatt Six, what that means for Bo Dallas, and how WWE is going to use the tragedy and grief of Bo Dallas to further the career of Bo Dallas, but also tell the story of Bray Wyatt.
Well, this is a very big thing. The reckoning is them getting their revenge for everybody trying to forget Bray Wyatt. That's what they're trying to. That's the story they're trying to tell. They're like, "Oh, he's gone, so now you're just going to forget everything he tried to build." No, that ain't happening. That's what the reckoning is. What we're looking at here, though, is we know that Bray Wyatt's story, the final chapter that he was trying to build was about mental health and about the mental problems he was having and doing a kind of a split personality thing. But when he passed away, what they're showing is Taylor Rotunga, otherwise known as Bo Dallas, and Uncle Howdy. He is now the one who went through all the trauma. His mind is now split. He is now two of two minds, and he's arguing with himself. And he's talking to himself, and you got Uncle Howdy, the darker persona that's there. Really, it's a cruel and evil persona, but it's there to protect him from his own emotions and help guide these emotions towards an enemy. And right now, the enemy is Chad Gable, because Chad Gable talks down about his family, and he stopped being who he truly was. The whole Uncle Howdy bit, remember, he used to say, "Revel in what you are." Well, we've seen Chad Gable change, and Uncle Howdy doesn't like that. So we're building this whole thing of these are people who fell behind, were being forgotten, and now they're going to make everyone remember, and it's going to hurt. And I'm absolutely loving the slow burn here. Something that I saw on that second VHS that they showed was, if you watch carefully, when the faces are flashing back and forth between Uncle Howdy and Bo Dallas, if you look carefully, they impose a Bray Wyatt over Taylor Rotunga just for a split second, and it goes away. And then it goes back to doing the Uncle Howdy and Taylor bit again. And I love that they're not using the name Bo Dallas. They are saying, "I am nobody." The only name they've used is Uncle Howdy. He's not giving the name Bo Dallas. I really hope that he sticks with Taylor Rotunda for this one, but we'll see how that goes. You have anything you'd like to add, Vinny?
Oh, yeah. I loved it because here's what's great about this. And this is something that only Triple H would think to do, is the fact that every single question that Uncle Howdy has asked, and I'll just say Bo Dallas, that's the name I'm used to, that has asked Bo, is something you read on the internet somewhere. How do you felt when your brother died? Do you feel like you're exploiting him? What makes you think you can carry this? Why are you so special? And his answers are perfect. Like, what am I supposed to do? Let him become a mausoleum? I was supposed to let you forget about this? No. We started something. We were planning to take over, and we're going to finish it. And now he's like, and then he's bringing all these other people that it's not just him that's forgotten. Dexter Lumis came back. Dexter Lumis was over. Like, that gimmick was over in NXT. It was getting over on the main roster, and now they forgot about him. Nikki Cross, how many times do we see her go through reinventions when she should have been pushed to the moon? Then you got coming in Eric Rowan. Now, he wasn't necessarily given a bad push, but he's been gone for a while, so fans might have forgotten about him. Well, no. I was part of this Wyatt family as well. It wasn't just Braun Strowman and Brody Lee. I was in this group because Eric Rowan was kind of like a third wheel on the Wyatt family in a way because he never won a singles title. And then you bring in Joe Gacy, who fans aren't really going to know who he is. He's kind of the odd man on this. But if you're in NXT, you were wondering, where the hell did he go? Because 1 minute he's on TV and then he just disappeared. Next thing you know, he's the pig in the Wyatt Six. So this storyline is so brilliantly done because they're calling it the internet. They're not ignoring the internet, but they're allowing Bo Dallas the chance to justify why this is okay and why we, the fans, should even give a damn. Because that's going to be your question. Bray's not in this. Why should I care? You know, here's why we should care. And guess what? I care.
Yeah, and something about that goes with this as well. We had the points, like you were saying, like they're sticking with Bray Wyatt's original story. They're sticking with Bray Wyatt's original way of doing things. How he used to ramble and go on, and he was cryptic. And some people were like, he's too cryptic. Nobody understands what you're saying. Well, here I feel like they were able to point that cryptic message in a direction. Triple H is gonna be like, okay, I like where you're going. Taylor, you're doing a good job. We gotta take your cryptic message, and we gotta focus it enough to where people can put the clues together. And it is a much more focused while still remaining cryptic, so it stays true to the original. And I feel like it's actually had the potential to be even better than the Bray Wyatt story that was going before.
Yeah, it's like Jeff Jarrett said, if you confuse them, you lose them. And there were some fans that got lost. So now they're bringing in. So it's kind of like what we were saying before off the air. Like, this is Bray Wyatt with structure. That's basically what this is. Bray with something organized, structured. Okay, I like what you're doing, but let's tailor it in a way so that the fans understand. And we can understand it now. So that's kind of where it's going.
Do you think, and this just kind of came to my head, I'm not the only one to think of this, but obviously Braun Strowman was in the original OG Wyatt family. Do you ever see a return? And if not, why not?
Potentially it could happen. I don't see it happening anytime soon. Mainly because of the way that Braun Strowman broke free from the Wyatts. He truly made his own name. He separated himself. He did a good job of breaking free from the Wyatts. And they've tried to bring him back in the past, and they could never get him to come back. So, whereas I'm sure Braun would love to have a rehash moment, kind of thing going with it, I feel like it's more likely that he would be a nemesis to the Wyatts than being a part of the team.
That would be sexy, right? That would be awesome. That would be something that WWE should listen to and start thinking about and writing on. Yes to that. Go ahead, Booch.
And when you think about it, it tells the story perfectly because remember, when Braun Strowman debuted in the Wyatt family, what color was his mask? Black. The black sheep of the Wyatt family. The black sheep is usually the outcast, the guy who tends to break away from family. So, not always likely to come back. So, the story's perfect there.
I love the callback. That's my snap callback right there. Vincent Kennedy Bucci, Damascus Dez coming with the insights, baby. Here in When's World, we will have a clear-cut champion. After all, we have a tiebreaker, and we'll do a show next week for you two to see who won it all after Saturday. I'm so excited about this. One thing's for sure, ladies and gentlemen, we will never, ever leave an episode of the Male Soap Opera Moment without a couple key catchphrases plus one. First one is, have a nice day.
Bang, bang.
Let them in.